Hi, welcome back to my channel. It is for the annual you know what, and I'm scared for the you know what. I'm not ready for this. I'm terrified and petrified. For 24 hours of just no sleeping is really detrimental for your health. And I mean, like, sets you back like months. So we are going to still be doing the 24-hour reading challenges, but I think for now on, the 24-hour like all-nighters will be really irregular and will be definitely like pushed to the side. So we're gonna do the timer method, which is pretty much every single time I go and read, I will stop the timer. But for this video, we have a very special plan. This is going to be a very specific reading vlog for one book only, and that is going to be Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. And this is the last book in the Throne of Glass series, and I've been holding it off for a very long time. I am so scared to get into this and to start back where we ended, and I'm also very nervous with just finishing the series. This series means so much to me. It is so far my favorite Sarah J. Maas series. These characters changed my life and they have such a special place in my heart. I'm so scared of finishing this book. This book is, trying not to get spoiled because that would suck. Stop it, that's cute. This book is 980 pages. I read about 60 pages an hour. It's time to finally finish this, and this is one of my reading goals, is to finish Throne of Glass so I can get into Crescent City. Thinking of not looking forward to the next Throne of Glass book makes me so upset. For this specifically, I thought this time I'd do a little twist. There's gonna be two videos. There's gonna be two 24-hour readathons. I'm gonna be so honest right now, this is gonna kill me. There is going to be this is gonna be difficult. There is going to be a 24-hour readathon non-spoiler, and then there's going to be a spoiler, because I don't know how I'm gonna be able to not spoil this book. The length is gonna be a lot different. I feel like in the spoiler one, obviously, I'm gonna be talking a lot more about the plot, characters, what's happening. But in this one, I'm really gonna be very quiet about it because obviously this is the last book in the series. That's how it's gonna go. So one video will be posted and then the other one will be posted after that. There are gonna be a lot of reoccurring like reading bits or things I'm doing, you know, like do it in a way where I'm not like overwhelmed and I'm filming like everything doubly. Look at the old Giza. This is gonna be rough. So this is gonna be a rough ride mentally, and oh, big stretch. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by my dog. This is gonna be a lot, and I'm ready, but I'm not, and I have to be ready, and I want to be ready, and I want to finish it. I'm done for. I'm done for. Okay. We didn't have to start there. If you guys are here, you know that it is a spoiler reading vlog, so don't watch this if you don't want to be spoiled. Listen, I'm upset right now. Literally do not care about Aiden's POV. Literally hate him. I'm so there for like everyone else though, especially Aelin, because we just figured out, if y'all do not remember in Empire Storm, we literally ended with Maeve kidnapping Aelin and taking her away, and pretty much for her torture to end, she has to swear to the blood oath. And obviously that would destroy everything they know. With that, she's being tortured like every single day by Kane, whatever his name is, Kane, and he's torturing her like the worst way. And literally I was like gritting my teeth. Like, it is so tremendous, and it makes me so upset because she thinks she like deserves this in a way, and it's so upsetting for that because obviously she doesn't. A lot's been happening with that, I guess, and she's stuck with Fenrir because he's still with the blood oath. So he just is kind of there, and they have this like blinking thing that is like, he's saying, you know, you're not alone, I'm here for you, you're okay, da-da-da-da-da. And it just makes me so upset about that. Along with that, Rowan is with Lorcan, Elid, and Aiden's dad. I can't think of his name right now. I forget. Hold on, guys. Gabriel. There we go. And so they're coming to try to find Aelin. They were going through with Rowan's bond with her, but it kind of ended, so they're using soldiers and warriors that they're finding throughout and trying to like get closer to where they're at. And then Aiden and Sandra are keeping up the fake that she's Aelin, and they're trying to hold down the fort, which is not going well. And then we don't know where Kale is at yet. We haven't gone to his POV yet, but I'm hoping soon we will. And the 13, Manon, and Dorian supposed to be finding the third word key, but they stopped so that they could find the oh my god, I hate this. Crochins. The Crochin? Basically, we kind of just got like updates from everyone, but like I totally forgot that like Dorian and Aelin are kind of like long lost cousins pretty much, and so Dorian is able to be the sacrifice as well. So either or of them can, and I think Dorian's gonna like seriously try to sacrifice himself because he thinks that like no one's gonna remember him. Like Aelin has all this, she's got a whole kingdom and he's got nothing. He's got a broken kingdom and no one loves him, and I'm like, I think he's a little blind. So that's upsetting. But that's so far what's happening. I'm still trying to catch up with everything again because all the names of like families and where we are, those things are kind of getting confusing. So I'm still trying to remember that, and I'm trying to remember like where everyone's at as well. So this like little update was really nice. Sorry, the air conditioning is so loud. But yeah, I am 57 minutes in and 50 seconds, and I'm on page 52. I want to try to read at least 100 today, but we'll see. And then tomorrow I'm going to Lake George, which is in New York, with Dylan, which is like 5 hours. So we'll have like a good little travel day tomorrow, so hopefully I'll get something in of this book. But I'm kind of scared of putting it down because I think I'm trying to just avoid it. Like I don't want to read because I'm scared for it to end, and I don't want this entire world to end or these characters because it's my favorite fantasy series. That's happening. Other than that, that's what's happening. I'll update when I have something else, but that's where we're at so far. Right now, we are 5 hours and 42 minutes in and 21 seconds in. And I am on page 271. I'm in the middle of a chapter right now. I think it's like chapter 30. This chapter's literally go to like 140 or something. I was like, damn. It's not healthy to be this anxious, and I'm gonna say it again because, Lord. Ever since I opened this book, I know where we ended in Empire Storm with Aelin being captured by Maeve, but just having to go through the anguish of seeing her in this much pain is crazy. You do not yield. That was so, like when I finally got to read that sentence, I was like, it means so much, and the way she put it was where we needed it. I literally wanted to cry. She is so strong in so many ways, and I love her. I don't know how I'd be able to go through I know I would not be able to. The fact that it's the emotional turmoil of having to be in a coffin and your aunt, literally that's pissing me off. How does she not know that's like not her aunt yet, you know? Like there's key things that Maeve kind of showed her, but I want them to know that she's like a Val queen. Anyways, what was I trying to say? Anyways, just Maeve just being there, being like, Rowan's not looking for you, no one's looking for you, like this is what you deserve. I forget what else she was saying, just twisting her mind, and for her not to know if this is real or not real, and then for them to hurt her and then just erase it overnight, and then it literally would go crazy. If I was her, I would go nuts. I don't want to like explain it all, but it's on page 120. It says, you are my daughter, you were born of two mighty bloodlines, that strength flows through you, lives in you. Evelyn's face blazed with the fierceness of the woman who had come before all them, all the way back to the fairy queen, whose eyes they both bore. You do not yield. Then she was gone like dew under the morning sun, but the words lingered, blossomed within Aelin, bright as a kindled ember. You do not yield. Karn scraped his dagger over the metal right above her head. When I cut you up this time, bitch, I'm going to. Aelin slammed her hand into the lid. Karn paused. Aelin pounded her fist into the iron again. Again, you do not yield. Again, you do not yield. Again, until she was alive with it. Until her blood was raining onto her face, washing away the tears. Until every pound of her fist into the iron was a battle cry. You do not yield. You do not yield. You do not yield. Literally means everything to me. Like actual freaking chills. And that's another thing. Aelin is, I haven't read that much fantasy books. Like literally looking at it, I really haven't. Aelin is by far the most strongest, fiercest main character I've ever encountered. Through all the bloodshed, all of the emotional turmoil and the physical pain she had to go through, and literally being kidnapped and held against your will. She's like, flowers still existed. In this world, this hill, flowers bloomed somewhere. And I don't know what it was. Literally read that quote and I froze. Because there ain't no way, if I was kidnapped and going through all that, I would look, you know, the fact that she just stood there and was like, flowers. Like the little hope in this world. I wrote this down. I said, if there is any song to describe Rowan and Aylin together, it's Rescue by Lauren Daigle. Literally heard that song and I wanted to tear up because their love is so strong in like an otherworldly vibe. Like it means so much and I have no idea how to explain because it's just so beautiful. It's so empowering and it gives you hope in the way that they fight through darkness together. It's like a beautiful pain. And they're so strong together, the way that they fought through everything together, it was just beautiful. This is the quote, so it is, oh shoot. He offered up a prayer anyway. Then he had begged Mala to protect Aylin from Maeve when they entered Dornow, to give her strength and guidance and to let her walk out alive. Then he had begged Mala to let him remain with Aylin, the woman he loved. The goddess had been little more than a sunbeam in the rising dawn, and yet he had felt her smile at him. Tonight, with only the cold fire of the stars for company, he begged her once more. And I literally paused because the song Rescue came on and I read it as I was listening to the song and I literally started crying. So here, let's pause the videos, guys, look up that song and let's picture that, okay? I can't put it on or I'll get copyrighted. He begged once more. A curl of wind sent his prayer drifting to the stars, to the waxing moon, silvering the camp, the river, the mountains. He had killed his way across the world. He had gone to war and back more times than he cared to remember. And despite it all, despite the rage and despair and ice he'd wrapped around his heart, he'd still found Aylin. Every horizon he gazed towards, unable and unwilling to rest during those centuries, every mountain and ocean he'd seen and wondered what lay beyond, it had been her. It had been Aylin, the silent call of the mating bond driving him, even when he could not feel it. They'd walked this dark path together back to the light. He would not let the road end there. I will never ever find a couple more spontaneous than that. Shitting. I sent that to Dylan because it's like, Dylan, like, he watched me literally cry in the car and then he's over here and he pretends to like wipe tears and then he went, that's what I get. So the one with Manon, she's with the Crochin witches. I literally, like, everything saying out loud sounds not right because in my mind I'm like, whoa, you know. Anyways, obviously we found out that she is actually the heir to the Cotrin, the line of witches. They found them because they want them to join in their fight against the Valg, but she's talking to this one and they're talking about the wyvern and her name is Kersim, and she says, your wyvern seems like more of a dog than anything. I don't know what it was. I was like, oh, I love you, Abraxas. I was like, Dorian was like, is it so bad to care? She said, I don't know how to, she growled. You do care. You know it too. It's what makes you so damn scared of all this. And I don't know what it was. I was like, oof. And then I saw this other bit because Dorian's trying to become like a shapeshifter so he can pretty much go sacrifice himself because he thinks no one loves him and all this. He's very depressed and it makes me so upset. The pain I felt when he was under the Valg Prince, literally wanted to cry, missed him so much, was so anxious, and when everyone got him back, like, there was so much love in that room for him. And even beforehand, before they hadn't had him, that's their main goal was him. I don't know where he's getting this no one loves me shit, but he needs to wrap it up. And then I just saw this because I know there's that trend going around where it's like your eyes have a little green in them. Literally love that trend. I love seeing everyone's like eyes are so pretty. But I saw this one, it says, what is it? He asked. Your eyes are brown, because he's trying to shapeshift and he was just trying to change his eyes and he got to brown and he was so excited. Oh, so two things. So Aiden, literally, I'm the biggest hate. Actually, I don't hate him. I'm just a little upset with everything that's happening. I understand he feels betrayed, but the fact is Lysandra is literally putting herself basically at risk of harm, pretending to be Aylin, and this guy is like butthurt, and I just don't understand why he will forgive his cousin but can't with Lysandra. Like, it's the same thing. They both agreed on this. Aylin literally told Lysandra to do this. Like, they're doing it for a bigger cause, not for your butt. Like, he needs to get over it. And the way he's treating her, I'm like, nay. He'll get through it. I'm trying not to be like a hate club with him, but it's a little frustrating. Other than that, I could never imagine losing my twin. He had to watch his twin literally stab himself in the chest, and literally if I ever lost Becca, I don't know what I would do. So the fact that he'd watch his twin do that literally petrified me. And then I also was saying that with Lorcan, another thing, like I really hated him at the end of Empire Storms. I thought he was very weak, but then finding out that he wasn't crawling towards Maeve, he was crawling towards Aelin, complete switch. Aelin getting away from Karn, that was so huge, because one, she's not only strong, but being able to finally fight in a time where she could literally be murdered, terrifying, in a place where you don't know if you're going to be able to escape. And I think it was so important when she was like, I told someone once that if your captor was ever trying to take you to somewhere else, you need to fight back, or else that's the last moment you'll ever be seen alive. She did that. Literally boss bitch moment. Like, but her and Fenrir's, like, him fighting back against the blood oath and literally sacrificing his life for the queen. Literally, I'm so happy with how this went, because when this was happening, I was so flipping anxious. I literally, like, grabbed Dylan's hand in the car. This was during our 6-hour car ride. Grabbed his hand, would not let go, and I was like, he's like, why are you so freaking sweaty? And so much was happening, and Aelin was trying to, like, she literally believed no one was coming for her, so she was fighting for herself. And I was like, good for you, girl. Like, good for you. But then Rowan is literally over here, like, fighting all of these guys to get to her. So much was happening, and then Fenrir was, like, fighting against the blood oath, and I was like, bruh. I was like waiting for the part where she's like, take it off. I'd seen, that's one of the things I got spoiled with. Finally realized like where this came from, and I literally got like goosebumps, wanted to cry, because it was such a vulnerable bit and she was so scared. And everything that happened, like, it's the way that it happens, and then Rowan getting his, so much happens. I can't even talk about everything that happens. Anyways, that's your updates. I think for the rest of the night, I definitely need to get some editing done. I'm very behind in videos right now. The last time, when Sunday, I think it's been a week since I uploaded, because usually I do 2 videos a week, so I definitely need to get to some editing, so I think I'm gonna do that. I'm a little like burnt out from reading, just because so much happens in these last like 170 pages. So we'll see. I might read the last 30 pages just because I hate being in the middle of a chapter and ending there. So I might do that, but I think I'm going to do some editing. So it looks like I'm a little behind in my reading for like hours, but it's kind of understandable because fantasy usually takes me a little longer because I want to comprehend everything. Okay, thanks for listening to me. has everything a fantasy girly wants in a flipping book. For the challenge, I'm 10 hours and 28 minutes in, and I just got halfway. 494. So shocked with everything that is happening. So I don't want to just, I realized in my last clip, I think I just talked a lot about the plot and what's happening in the book, and I wish I could literally sit down and like have a book club talk about this. Like Rowan and Aelin having the wedding band, I literally bawled my eyes out. It was so emotional and so vulnerable. I loved it. I bawled my eyes out. There's so many times I bawled my eyes in this. Like I bawled my eyes out, and that happened when Kale and Aelin finally reunited and Ren and Aelin finally realized who the other one was. My heart was, the heartstrings were really going. And everyone meeting each other and just getting the satisfaction of everyone kind of being up to date, or like the main people who need to be up to date are. And so now they truly understand what they're going against. But that also meant they lost a lot of hope. And this is whenever the bands were together. "I assume the sparkle emerald is for me," Rowan said with a half smile. She took his hand and he tried not to shudder in relief, tried not to fall to his knees as she slid the ruby ring onto his finger. It fit him perfectly, the ring no doubt forged for the king lying in the barrow. "To whatever end," he whispered, "to whatever end. To walk this path together back from the darkness of the iron coffin, to face what waited in Terrasen, ancient promises to the gods be damned. I'll make the tattoo again," she swallowed but nodded, and he added, "I'd like to add another, to me and to you." I think that was the biggest one I wanted to show, but also there was one like after they found out that Maeve was like an actual Val Queen and everything came together, like Aelin literally just like broke down. Like she finally showed Rowan like she's not okay and he knows it, and he just held her and was like, "I know you're tired, Fireheart, but keep going, please keep going." A main character isn't the main, like the main character is strong and powerful, but truly the only way they get through it is by their partners and by their friends and family. And Rowan, if she didn't have Rowan, I don't know how she would get through this. Rowan is seriously like helping her get through this. Even in Air of Fire, I don't even think we would have a book after Air of Fire if it wasn't for him. And I'm not letting him take all the credit, no, not at all, but he is definitely a big component to her becoming who she is, and I just think that's so special and so unique that, you know, we finally have that. I literally want to cry thinking about them because, oh my god, why am I like about to cry? They're so in love and so mates, and you can see the love that they bring each other. And she said she lowered her gaze, but he hooked a thumb and forefinger around her chin and lifted her face. "I know you're tired, Fireheart. I know that the burden on your shoulders is more than anyone should endure." He took their joined hands and laid them on his heart. "But we'll face it together, Erwin, the lock, all of it. We'll face it together, and when we are done, when we settle, we'll have 1,000 years together, longer." A small sound came out of her. "Elena said the lock requires, we'll face it together," he swore again. "And if the cost of it truly is you, then we'll pay it together, as one soul in two bodies." I could go on and on about them because they're just so beautiful. Kaltane? Is that how you say her name? She came back, and she talked to Dorian, and that, she kind of, I don't know. She is one of the biggest components in Queen of Shadows. I literally bawled my eyes for. She is one that seriously deserves hope, and I just feel awful. Empowering, and she did it because she wanted to, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just so beautiful, and she deserves the world. So just seeing her again, I was just like, wow. Like, I hope she's okay in the other world, I guess. After they all gave the blood oath to Aelin, this was my favorite quote. A member of this court, of Lorcan's own court, the three of them once again bound and yet freer than they've ever been. And I think that is the most craziest quote ever. And then also Aiden was like, "I'm sorry" to Lysandra after she almost died, and I thought this was chef's kiss. So Aiden blinked as she withdrew her hand from his. Her leg ached and throbbed, but she managed to sit up to meet his stare. "I've been degraded and humiliated in so many ways for so many years," she said with voice shaking. Not from fear, but from the tidal wave that swept up and everything inside her, burning alongside the wound in her leg. "But I've never felt as humiliated as I did when you threw me into the snow, when you called me a lying bitch in front of our allies and friends. Never." She hated the angry tears that stung her eyes. "I was once forced to crawl before men, and gods above, I nearly crawled for you these months, and yet it takes me nearly dying for you to realize that you've been an ass. It takes me nearly dying for you to see me as a human again." I was so frustrated because I was finally happy that, you know, he finally understood, but the fact that it took her almost dying boiled my rage. Like, I understand he loves her, but it's like, why did that end? Why did that pause? I don't understand how he was so selfish. He was like, oh, everything with us was a lie. How is that a lie? Like, I don't understand how her pretending to be Aelin makes you think that everything you had before that was a lie. Like, how does that go hand in hand? Like, how are you that fucking selfish to be like, oh, this is between us? Like, you were tagging me along. Like, I don't like him. That's my thoughts on Aiden right now. Lysandra deserves the world. He needs to grovel for her. If he doesn't, he does not deserve her. If anything, Ren deserves her. He's so gentlemanly to her. The other thing I really wanted to talk about was also Manon and Aelin. They are so alike in so many different ways. They're both two queens that are still trying to find themselves. Manon will show her darkness because she's very scared and she doesn't want to be vulnerable and loving because she's always been shown that weakness. But with Aelin, she wants to hide her darkness because obviously she's gone through so much and she's scared of it. But honestly, I think they both are so alike in that, you know, they're both trying to hide a part of themselves. What's gonna make them such amazing queens because they've gone through so much. She doesn't believe that Harrison deserves her because she let them down all those years, but in reality she does. She just needs to break past that. And with Manon, she's still just trying to earn everyone's respect. She's showing that darkness, but she's scared of showing that loving and vulnerable, and that's why the Crochans are still not with her, because they fear her. And I think if she shows that lovingness with what she did with her grandma, I mean, she was literally about to kill her grandma. That moment was so powerful. Witches, and that's what made her the queen. You know, she broke through that. She showed that vulnerability. I just wanted to say that they're just so alike. They're both beautiful, amazing, intricate queens, and I cannot wait to see both of them at their full potential. And not only that, Dorian too, he thinks that he's just terrible. Like, he has no confidence in himself, and honestly I really want to see him get better and him build his confidence, because we have not talked about Adarlan in forever. Like, how is that going to go with him? Because there's going to be a point where he's going to have to go back to Adarlan. I also just want to say Kale's name. Kale, I have missed so dearly. Him as a father and as a person, I love him as a person. I miss Kale. I miss Kale a lot, but I love where he's at now. But I'm excited. I'm excited to find the hope. I'm excited to see the character development. I'm excited to see more love, more brilliant times. So hopefully I'm gonna go do my run right now. I'm sorry about the lighting. I just didn't want to get up. So I will let you know that I'm gonna try to get this video up by August 11th and then August 13th. I'll probably have the non-spoiler one up first and then the spoiler one next, just so if you guys want to see the non-spoiler one, you can. But that one's definitely gonna be a lot shorter than obviously the non-spoiler one, because the non-spoiler one, that's all I'm gonna be able to talk about. So hopefully the non-spoiler one isn't boring. Yeah, this book is really coming hand in hand. I feel like this is just such a good process. So I will talk to you guys later. It's taken me like weeks to get halfway, but we are halfway done with this book. And I definitely think I can finish this in 24 hours, considering that I think I was 10 hours in and I was officially 500 in or something. Chapter 2, I mean part 2. We're almost there. We have read most of this book. We only have 300 pages left. Lots of things have been wrapped up. People have come together. A lot of romance has happened and I'm here for it. Let's get on to more reading. Big things are happening with Dorian and he's in danger. I knew something was not gonna go right. And that's, should have been more careful. If I swear to God, if I lose him, I'm gonna be pissed off. This bitch, Dorian, I love you. No way did he just pulled a reverse card. Shut the He really said, the king I wish to be is the opposite of what you are. He gave Maeve a smile, and there is only one witch who will be my queen. I'm never underestimating him ever again. Tell Erwin that I did this for a darling. Aww. For Sorsha and Kaltane and all those destroyed by it, as the Darlin itself had been destroyed. But from utter ruin it might be built again, if not by him, then by others. Then he reached back, this is on page 662, right before chapter 79. Then he reached back into the mind still tethered to his. It was simple as an incision, to sever the link between their minds and to sever another part of her. To tie off the gift that allowed her to jump between places, to open those portals. World Walker no longer, he said as his raw magic shifted her own. Changed its very essence. I suggest you invest in a good pair of shoes. Then he let go of Maeve's mind. A hateful, unending scream was the only response. Dorian shifted again, becoming large and vicious, no more than a pack wyvern flying northward to bring supplies to the aerial legion. A king. He could be a king to a Darlin in these last days that remained for him. Wipe away the stain and rot of what it had become, so it might start anew, become who it wished to be. Dorian caught a swift wind, sailing hard and fast, and when he looked behind him at the mountains and valley that reeked of death, at the place where so many terrible things had begun, Dorian smiled and brought more of the towers crashing down. Aura. That dude. I think someone's gonna die. This doesn't feel good. Something feels bad, like something's gonna happen. Oh shit, I forgot to stop the timer. Anyways, 14 hours in. We have 10 hours left. Right? Is that math? Is that how math works? These don't work. They're dead. The ones that I was using to run are down there, and my headphones are not working for some reason. So we're gonna have the music out loud. Which isn't annoying, but My light died. That stuff is happening with Lorcan and Elide. Shut the f. Shut. Guys, we're getting to that quote. Shut the f. Oh, he's walking her. I don't know what I'm doing. Anything you do will be enough. Oh my god. I finally got to that quote. I finally got to that flipping quote. So Lorcan did. I've been waiting for this one. The women in this book all have had a second with the song. At one point, their characters were the song at one point. Yoo-hoo, big summer blowout. Zelos. Hold on. It's late and I really want to keep reading, but I also need to do a run in the morning, get up early, and just work. So there's like a couple little things I have to do tomorrow. So I need to go to bed, but I am, this is right in my face, I am 15 hours and 34 minutes in. This is wild, guys. This has been taking me literally, I think if I actually calculated how long this book has taken me, it'd probably be a month at this point, and not in a bad way. Do not want it to end. I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I keep thinking of this book and how it's gonna feel to say goodbye to these characters. Really dreading it. I'm gonna be completely honest. I am on page 733 and I'm on chapter 88. This is all that we have left of this beautiful, perfect world. I'm just having a blast with it, but I'm gonna have to say goodbye, and I don't want to say goodbye. So much happens in the romance category for multiple characters. Manon and Dorian had some moments, and Elide, is it Elide or Elide? I don't know. And Lorcan had some, and obviously Aelin and Rowan, as he is hubby of the year, the way that he is protecting her and the way that he is comforting her. Let's talk about Dorian and Manon. They went through a lot. My favorite quote, I already showed you the quote about yesterday about how Manon will be his queen and his only queen when he tricked Maeve. I was so proud of him, and he is such a powerful person. Just the way he stood up for his woman. I love it. I love it so much. Dorian just shifted from a wyvern and is with Aelin now, and when characters get together finally, I literally want to bawl my eyes out. So when they see each other, they're like, you're alive, like you're not dead. I can't wait. When Dorian and Kale get back together, I'm gonna bawl my eyes out, because their friendship is otherworldly. And yeah, Manon and her 13 are with, like, they rescued Aiden and Lysandra in their war, so I was so ready and so happy for that. But I'm scared. I was spoiled, so I know the 13 die. I just don't know when, and we only have about 200 pages left, so that means it's coming up probably soon. And now that's a whole other level of pain. Like that's characters dying. And I think I was also spoiled for the end as well, because with like the word gate, I think what Aelin is gonna do is, instead of just sacrificing herself, they're gonna do it together. So like half and half. That's at least what I'm thinking in my head, because I saw fan art and that's what I saw. So I don't really know how this is gonna go, and I'm upset that I was spoiled, because literally I've been spoiled for everything in this book. Aiden and Lysandra, I feel like Aiden had a shitty time. Well, I do blame him for being upset. He created it, he made it such a selfish problem, and it wasn't even about him, and he made it all about him. I still want him and Lysandra to be together. Like, I feel like they fit perfectly. I do think Aiden does need to do more groveling, because he did say I love you, and then she was like, that's not enough, like, you know, we'll talk about this later. So I'm hoping, you know, we see that more. But also, I just also feel like Aiden went through his shit and he deserves to be happy now too, because all of these freaking characters deserve happiness. I'm really excited for Elide too, because Ren said that she could heal her foot, and that made me really excited for her. But it's like a lot of healing and a lot of pain, but I think she should do it. I don't know what's gonna happen with that battle. I think that Kale and them are gonna keep going, but Aylin and her group are gonna go with Dorian, and they're going to deal with the word gate, maybe? I don't know, because they're so close to it. I've been picturing them so much older. We're gonna stick with that, because me thinking of them as like 20-year-olds, I'm like, ugh. Good night. She literally banished gods. She made her own prophecy and she said, I'm coming back home. I'm going home. Rowan literally put a map on her back so she can find her way back to him. I don't even know how that crossed his mind, but it worked. And that is the reason that we still have Aylin, because of his love, his fearless love for her. Not to mention just that, we also saw her go through so many other realms and worlds, and we literally saw Rhysand and Feyre. That I was waiting for. I had seen some people saying that had happened, and there it was. And Rhysand literally helped her get back home. Nothing will ever compare to this. The way she writes, it's so beautiful. That's it. I don't even know what to say about this. This was so beautiful, and I cried so many times just from pure happiness. And finally Aylin getting a fucking break, and her finally being like, you're not gonna control my life. This is my life. This is what I'm gonna do. She fucking banished goddesses. The only thing is the despair on Rowan's face. He was like, Rowan was on his knees before Aylin, readying for her last breaths, for the end that he hoped would somehow take him to. He'd make it his end. When she went, he'd go. That's what I needed. I was so scared that, I don't know, I just needed that hope. I needed our Aylin back, you know? Okay, when she came back to the world, to her world, she lost like her ability. But this is my favorite thing. She said, perhaps it had been a final gift of Mala's too, to preserve this piece of her that now formed in her hand, this droplet of water, her mother's gift. What Aylin had saved until the end, had not wanted to part with, until the very last dreads of her were given to the lock, to the word gate. Aylin held out her other hand, and the kernel of flame sputtered to life within it. An ordinary gift, a firebringer no more, but Aylin all the same. Like, I don't know what that is, but I fucking bawled my eyes. She said that so spectacularly, because people are gonna be like, oh, that's not Aylin anymore, she doesn't have her power. No, she was always our Aylin, no matter what. She put her hand to her chest, put a hand there, and felt the heart beating within, the Fae heart, the cost. She had given all of herself, had given up her life, the human life, her mortality, burned away, turned to nothing but dust between worlds. I don't know why when she said that. So I think she gave away her human life, I guess. A lot of the quote from Avatar where it's like, be grateful of your human heart. And that's what she still has, you know? I don't know. That was so beautiful. I literally like was screaming and crying because I was so happy. I'm literally on chapter 100. No words. Hello, I'm back from work, and I wanted to like talk more about the book, about just at least two things. I wanted to talk about the 13. I knew it was coming up, and that's why I was like trying to be in my room when I read or something, or you know, somewhere where I could fucking bawl my eyes out, unfortunately. But it hurt just as bad as I think it would have if I didn't know about it, and it was so fucking heartbreaking. Here, let me just I'll just read, it's page 748. Manon repeated, I need another wyvern. Abraxas was in no shape to fly, wouldn't be for hours or days. When Abraxas got injured, I literally started bawling my eyes out because I thought she was going to lose her wyvern as well. Aiden Ash River rasped, no one is getting through the wall of iron teeth. Manon bared her teeth, I am. She pointed at the shapeshifter, you can carry me. Aiden snarled, no. But Lysandra shook her head, sorrow and despair in her green eyes. I can't, the magic is drained. If I had an hour, we have 5 minutes, Manon snapped. She rode to the 13. We've trained for this, to break apart enemy ranks. We can get through them, take apart that tower. But they all looked at one another like they had some unspoken conversation and agreement. The 13 stalked towards their own mount. Sorrel clasped Manon's shoulder as she passed, then climbed onto her wyvern's back, leaving Asterin before Manon. Her second, her cousin, her friend smiled, eyes bright as stars. Live, Manon. Manon blinked. Asterin smiled wider, kissed Manon's brow, and whispered again, live. Manon didn't see the blow coming, the punch to her gut so hard and precise that it knocked the wind from her, sent her to her knees. She was struggling to get a breath down, to get up, when Asterin reached Nareen and mounted the blue mare, gathering the reins. Bring our people home, Manon. Manon knew then what they were going to do. Her legs failed her, her body failed her, and she tried to get to her feet as she rasped, no. But Asterin and the 13 were already in the skies. I'm gonna read to you guys for a second because I just need to digest what just happened again. Already in formation, that battering ram that had served them so well, spearing towards the battlefield, towards the approaching witch tower. Manon clawed her way to the battlement edge and hauled herself to her feet, leaned against the stones, panting, trying to get air into her lungs so she might find some way to get airborne. Find some crouch in and steal her broom, but there were no witches here, no brooms to be found. Abraxas remained unconscious. It was distantly aware of the shifter and Prince Aiden coming up beside her. Lord Wren with them, distantly aware of the silence that fell over the castle, the city, the walls. As all of them watched this witch tower approach, their doom gathering within, as the 13 raced for it, raced against the wind and death itself. A wall of iron teeth rose up before the tower, blocking their path. 100 against 12. Inside the witch tower, close enough now that Manon could see through the open archway of the uppermost level, a young witch in black robes stepped towards the hollowed interior. I'm running out of breath. Stepped towards Manon's grandmother stood, gesturing to the pit below. The 13 neared the enemy in their path and did not falter. Manon dug her fingers into the stones so hard her iron nails cracked. Began shaking her head, something in her chest fracturing completely. Fracturing as the 13 slammed into the iron teeth blockage. The maneuver was perfect, more flawless than any they'd done. A lethal phalanx that speared through the enemy's ranks, aiming right for the tower. Seconds. They had seconds until that young witch summoned the power and unleashed the yielding in a blast of blackness. The 13 punched through the iron teeth, spreading wide, pushing them to the side, clearing a path right to the tower as Asterin swept in from the back, aiming for the utmost level. Imogen went down first, then Lynn, and Ghislaine, her wyvern, swarmed by the enemy. Then Thea and Kaya together, as they had always been. The green-eyed demon twins, laughing as they went. In the shadows, Ida and Bria, arrows still firing, still finding their marks. Then Vesta roaring her defiance to the sky. And then Sorrel, who held the way open for Asterin, a solid wall for her main second as she soared in. A wall against whom the waves of iron teeth broke and broke. The young witch inside the tower began glowing back. Steps from the pit, besides Manon, Lysandra, and Aiden wrapped their arms around each other, ready for the end. Heartbeats away. And then Asterin was there. Asterin was barreling towards that open stretch of the air for the tower itself, bought with the lives of the 13. With their final stand. Manon could only watch, shaking her head as if she could undo it as Asterin moved her levers, the shirt beneath. As Asterin rose in the saddle, freed of the buckles, a dagger in hand, as her wyvern aimed straight for the tower. Manon's grandmother turned then, away from the pit, the acolyte about to lead inside and destroyed them all. Asterin hurled her dagger, the blade flew true. It plunged into the acolyte's back, sending the witch sprawling for the stones, a foot away from the drop to the pit. Asterin drew the twin swords from the sheaths at her hips and slammed her wyvern into the side of the tower. The crack of bone on rock echoed across the world. But Asterin was already leaping, already arching through the air, sword raids, wyverns tumbling away beneath, Nareen's body broken on impact. Manon began screaming then, screaming endless and wordless as this thing in her chest, as her heart shattered. As Asterin landed in the witch tower's open archway, sword swinging at the witches who rushed to kill her. They might as well have been blades of glass. Grass might as well have been missed for how easily Astrid cut them down, one after another, driving forward towards the matron who had branded the letters on stark display across Astrid's abdomen. Twirling, twisting, blades flying, Astrid slaughtered her way towards Manon's grandmother. The High Witch of the Blackpeak clan backed away, shaking her head. Her mouth moved as if she breathed. Astrid, no, but Astrid was already there. It was not darkness, but light. Light bright and pure as the sun on snow that erupted for Astrid. Light as Astrid made the yielding. As the 13, their broken bodies scattered across the tower in a near circle, made the yielding as well. They all burned with it, irradiated it. Light that flowed from their souls, their fierce hearts as they gave themselves over to that power, became incandescent with it. Astrid tackled the Blackpeak matron to the ground. Manon's grandmother, little more than a shadow against the brightness, the little more than a scrape of hate and memory as Astrid exploded, and she and the 13 yielded completely and blew themselves in the witch tower to smithereens. It goes on to talk about, you know, Manon trying to find the bodies, but this is the one thing I wanted to sing because it literally made me bawl my eyes out. Behind her, had she looked, she would have seen Glennis and Bronwyn, Betra, Blueblood, Aiden Ash River, and Lysandra, and Ren Alsbrook, Prince Gallen, and Captain Rolfe, and Ansel of Briarcliff, Ilias, and the Fey Royals beside them. Had she looked, she would have seen the small white flowers they bore, would have wondered how and where they had gotten them in the dead heart of winter. Yet she looked, she would have seen the people gathered behind them, so many they streamed all the way to the city gates, would have seen the humans standing side by side with the Crochans and Iron Teeth. All came to honor the 13. But Manon did not look. Even when the leaders who had come with her, walked with her all this way, began to lay their flowers upon the blasted, bloody earth. Even when their tears flowed, dropping into the ashes alongside their offerings of tribute. They didn't speak, and neither did the streaming line of people who came after them. A few bore flowers, but many brought many stones to lay on the site. Those who had neither laid down whatever personal effects they could offer, until the blast site was covered, as if a garden had grown from a field of blood. Glennis stayed until the end, and then when they were alone on the silent battlefield, Manon's great-grandmother put a hand on her shoulder and said quietly, her voice somehow distant, "Be the bridge, be the light. When iron melts, when flowers spring from fields of blood, let the land be witness and return home." Manon didn't hear the words, didn't notice when even Glennis returned to the city blooming at her back. For hours Manon knelt on the battlefield. Abrax was at her side, as if she might stay with them, her 13, for a little while longer. And far away, across the snow-covered mountains, on a barren plain before the ruins of an ocean, of once great city, a flower began to bloom. Me just reading this out loud, it feels like I'm reading to my kid. But that end scene when everyone, you know, came together and gave them the flowers, that was so beautiful, and that was like to a better world. And the 13, I literally, they deserve that respect, and that's why I wanted to read it. They deserve to be remembered. And so yeah, I wanted to say that. 8:04. I am probably going to finish this book up today, tomorrow, probably the weekend. I have to work tomorrow and then I'm off Saturday and Sunday, so I'm gonna sit down, read this book, enjoy it. I only have 180, 170 pages left of this. I'm gonna enjoy it, and then I'm going to restart the series. so nervous right now because I only have 60 pages left of this. I got to the big part in this book. A battle scene, like the final battle scene, and I'm literally towards the end of it, and then Dylan like walked into my house. So dude, I'm gonna finish this tonight. I haven't wanted to put this down. I'm having a blast, but I also literally cried in the car with Dylan today because I was like, I don't want this to end. Like, how am I supposed to move on? I commented on this video about Sword of Glass, and it was like on TikTok, and it was about like, I think I talked about it yesterday in one of the clips, but I said I'm about to finish KOA. What am I supposed to do with this big hole in my chest? Big hole in my chest. And this girl said cry, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go do that. Let's finish this off, and I will give you guys my full thoughts and feelings tomorrow. I feel like I haven't talked about this book like at all. Like, I don't know how this video turned out. I haven't even started editing it yet. I'm weird with my reading vlogs. I'd like have to finish the book before finishing it off. I feel like I have to reread the last page. I do want to talk about this scene real quick. And these aren't like spoilers, like these are like their stories. So it's Ren's and Eli's, so this can stay for the non-spoiler and the spoiler part, I think. But basically it's on page 904, but it says hope. It was hope that, okay, well that's a spoiler. So it says, it starts with hope. This is for the spoiler one. It was hope that Kale had said she carried with her, hope that now grew in her womb. And then this is for non-spoiler and everything. For a better future, for a better world. It was hope that had guided two women at opposite ends of this continent 10 years ago. Hope that had guided Ren's mother to take up the knife and kill the soldier who would have burned Ren alive. Hope that had guided Marion, yeah, Loken, maybe? I don't know. When she chose to buy a young heir time to run with her very life. Two women who had never known each other. Two women who the world had deemed ordinary. Two women, Josephine and Marion, who had chosen hope in the face of darkness. Two women, in the end, who had bought them all this moment, this one shot at a future. And then, this is for the spoiler one, but it's, Ren's literally like trying to destroy Erwin right now. And it's like, she was kind of explaining herself and the like light she has. And it says, Erwin screamed the power of creation and destruction. That's what lay within her, the life giver and world maker. I don't know, the way she just described women, how ordinary women are the reason that they're at the final battle defeating darkness is because of those two women. And I don't know what it was, but it just really tugged at my heartstrings. I bawled my eyes out because women, moms, you know, like, I'm not trying to, you know, say dads don't do it, but just the way that she talks about women and how we're the life giver and world maker, like, I don't know, something, it's just, it sounds so powerful. So I just had to share that. But let's finish this. I'm scared. I'm gonna be so honest. The emotions that I have with this book, I've cried so many times. No, not right now. I'm on the last page. I'm gonna blow my eyes out.
I thought you were crying.
Yeah, I'm crying. Don't worry. I'm fine. I'm good. Just... No, I'm fine. I'm on the last page. I'm gonna bawl. I'm okay, I promise. This is the end of the 8-book Start of Class series. Cannot describe how I felt after finishing those books. You know, it was like so, I don't know, I don't like where I'm sitting. Hold on. To wrap up the series with the last book of a fantastic fantasy series that is personally my favorite. And I haven't read a lot of fantasy. Like, if I'm being completely honest, I mean, I had always read fantasy, like, when I was younger. That was, like, always what I'd wanted to read. But, this one outshines from them all. The feeling I got from this book was absolutely insane. It was such a beautiful, amazing, worth it ride. Let's just get into this story. Follows a girl, a princess who loved her kingdom, and she loved it. She gave up almost her entire self, would have given up her entire being for her kingdom. And the feelings, the emotions that you feel throughout this book, you feel this depression, this happiness, this kind of silence, excitement, fear, worry, heartbreak, so much heartbreak. Of it all, you feel the love and the compassion that all the characters feel for one another. And I never ever talk bad about this book. I have nothing bad to talk about this. I, in fact, want this to be longer. I want to have novellas. I need to see where everyone is at. Especially all the couples. I need to see where they're at. I need to see them in their beautiful world, because Rowan was saying that Galen was going to bring laughter and beauty to Terrason, and I was like, I need to see it. I need to know that my babies are okay and where they're at with each other, because this is such a beautiful world. And this isn't romance heavy, especially like with ACOTAR, it's not. But in this last book, I would say there is so much beauty in the romance and what the characters do for one another. It literally, in my view, it outshines what I read in ACOTAR. I still need to do my reread of all of ACOTAR. I'm hoping maybe to do it in September or so, you know, get through one of the books. But this is such a beautiful world Sarah J. Maas does deserve the hype for this. Our ride to get to where we are, I don't know, like my heart's squeezing because of how impactful it was. Went through so much. We lost so many people. I can't describe what we had to go through to get to here. I have literally no words. I don't want to talk about the ending. I literally don't want to talk about the last 200 pages. I think I read like 170 yesterday in this book, but the last 200 pages I don't want to talk about because I want you guys to experience, this is for the spoiler and the non-spoiler one. I don't want to talk about anything about it. Simple as that. Because it was so beautiful. It was so mesmerizing. I have no words. There's no way for me to describe what I experienced in this book and make sure that I'm saying it in the way it should be, you know? Like, I can't talk half the time. So the way that I'm going to talk about my all-time favorite fantasy book, there's no way this is going to turn out good. Let me just say, this is brilliant. This is outstanding. The emotions, I want to move on to more of my August TBR. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to start. I'm lost at words with this book. It is just it was so amazing in so many ways. And I'm gonna say it again, I said it before, this is why we read. This is why we read. It hit me so hard, I had a dream I was with all the characters at the end. I don't know what else to say. I feel like I'm just rambling. I'm trying to say something, but I don't know what to say. This is a 24-hour readathon, I forgot. So to read 983, I believe is like the exact count, but like 980 pages, it took me 20 hours and 58 minutes. That's very long. I think that I think it should have taken me like 16 hours, 17 hours to like fully finish this because I usually read like 60 pages an hour. But with this book, there were so many times that I stopped and bawled my eyes out. There were also many times that I accidentally forgot to stop the timer. I went like a whole hour of like talking with Dylan on the phone, and then I was like, oh my god, the timer's still on, and that happens. Not to be exact, but for this challenge, I had 20 hours and 58 minutes, and I had 4 hours left in the 24-hour, well, not 4, but like basically 3 hours left on the 24-hour readathon. Literally just shy of 21 hours, I finished this book. It took me weeks to do this. I'm gonna be so honest. But I wanted to take my time with this, and I did, and I had such a fun time. I'm so happy that I accomplished this. Like, this is a book. This is a book. So I honestly really hope possibly in the future that, you know, Sarah J. Maas possibly, I don't know, writes something where they're in another book, or they do have another book coming out, you know, something so I can see them again. With that being said, thank you guys so incredibly much for watching this video. I know this was definitely like not a boring 24-hour readathon, but you know, it's one book, it's one big ginormous book. It's gonna take longer, it's gonna be the width of the video obviously, but I'm so glad that you guys joined this ride. I really hope you either enjoy the non-spoiler or the spoiler one. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys in my next video. I'll try to get these 2 videos up as soon as possible. It's gonna be a lot of editing. I probably talked, I think, one clip for like an hour long, so it's gonna be a little ride, but honestly being able to remember all the feelings that I went through, I'm really excited. So I'm really glad that I finished my second series of Sarah J. Maas, and on to the next one. So